Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. Warhammer meets Diablo in this heretic purging, Xenos maiming, bloody action RPG. Does anyone expect the Imperium Inquisition? Let's find out. Inquisitor Martyr is a 40k action RPG with all the usual trappings of tons of loot, skill trees to unlock, levels to gain, and heretics to purge. You play as an Inquisitor, basically the guy nobody likes in the Imperium because they call everybody heretics, who stumbles across a chaos-infested ship called the Martyr. The technologies and secrets on this ship quickly make it a target for not only other enemies, but those within the Imperium itself. And as an Inquisitor, you have to figure out what makes this ship so special, as well as keep everybody away from it until you can lay holy judgment. While the story is pretty basic on the surface, the writing is fantastic, especially for a 40k game, really leaning into a lot of the universe's lore and almost every side character being incredibly engaging. The gameplay loop itself should be familiar to anybody who has played a Diablo game in the past 3 decades. You run around various zones, murdering hordes of enemies with up to 4 skills tied to your weapons, leveling up and gathering an insane amount of loot to improve your character. Loot is unique as you don't gain new skills on Inquisitor, instead they're all tied to your gear. Two-handed weapons each have 4 abilities, while one-handed ones can be mixed and matched with 2 skills apiece. You also gain a utility slot, be it for grenades, shields, etc., as well as an ultimate tied to your armor, and lastly you have a healing stim which can also be augmented and upgraded via gear. Since you aren't learning abilities, instead your levels will be spent upgrading one of a ton of skill trees, some of which need to be unlocked as you play through the game. They all offer a ton of crazy build synergy depending on the weapon you choose, and you can also easily reset your trees should you wish to try a whole new build. Crafting is another important point where you can disassemble old gear and make new stuff, or reroll stats on what you have to get exactly what you want. The systems are designed to be empowering and let you min-max to your heart's content. The loop itself is pretty great. The universe is chock full of side missions that rotate every hour, each with a level designation. Doing missions higher than your level offers stronger rewards, and you can even augment each mission with a host of modifiers to make them even harder to get better stuff. The main missions themselves are usually longer and have a good amount of variety, though you will still be killing most of the time. It all exists to feed back into the systems of loot, leveling, and getting super strong, which is how these types of games should be. And yeah, there's more mechanics to this game, but I think that pretty much sums up the gist of it. Inquisitor Martyr is Warhammer 40k meets Diablo with a few unique ideas and not straying too far from what makes those games popular. So what do I like about Inquisitor Martyr? Well, the core loop is very addicting, with the game always serving a whole ton of missions that you can augment to your heart's desire to try and get the loot that you want, and level ups come very briskly, meaning you'll feel like you are constantly improving and growing. Additionally, as mentioned, each of the 4 classes feel incredibly unique, making me want to go back to play through large chunks of the game with different classes just to try their new weapons, mechanics, and systems. And lastly, I really like this game's aesthetic. It's that great overblown 40k look paired with an insane amount of blood and gore, tons of enemy variety and locations, and some fantastic writing with its characters and lore. When it comes to the bad, since skills are tied to weapons, should you stick to one piece of equipment, which the game wants you to specialize in, the game might get repetitive without an injection of new abilities. Additionally, this game absolutely has some weird balance issues, with its heavy reliance on RNG giving you good stuff should you wish to progress at a decent clip. One of my characters beat the whole game without ever dying, and the other, same class, different build, never got any drops and got stuck on the 3rd story mission for hours. And lastly, this game still has bugs galore, including items disappearing, stuff glitching into the walls, and the most egregious one locking me out of completing the campaign. As you know, rate games here on a 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I think Inquisitor Martyr is a maybe consider, but is a bit of a hidden gem. It does a lot of things right. It's set up with cycling missions, brisk progression, interesting and empowering loot, and great looking environments and story really work out. It is unfortunate that a lot of these mechanics can get repetitive, and the game does suffer from some bugs half a decade later. If you enjoy these types of games and the Warhammer 40k flavor, however, it is absolutely worth grabbing on sale, especially if you can get the complete edition that has the Prophecy expansion baked in, and that also lets you play as the Tech Priest and praise the Omni Messiah as you should be doing. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played Inquisitor Martyr, I want to know what you think, so please let me know in the comments. But regardless, go out there and purge some heretics.